Oh boy. Oh guys, can you guys see me in the Discord? Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Wow.
The line is not stable.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the line just now. Someone sent me a nasty WhatsApp message and then my line just went poop. So you were saying that you're an optimist. I'm naturally a pessimist.
Good. You know, we can contradict each other.
Yeah. That's why there's so many things that we argue about, right? So,
Yeah.
so the thing is, uh, I think that I'm a pessimist, right? But I tend to try and find uh, hope in things. I know I'm a pessimist. I always tell myself things that, oh my God, this is a catastrophe. This is bad. This is gonna just now when the line dropped, right? I was like, oh shit, everything's gone haywire. What do I need to do now? Where do I put out the fire? Like how am I gonna save this thing? Are we just gonna call it off? Are we just gonna cancel everything? What am I gonna do? So I think that's kind of like the universe's way of telling me, Kenji, here's a real life example for you to go and show on your book club today of how to be a pessimist.
Yeah,
So,
serious.
but we're still here, right? Because I I know that I'm a pessimist, but I have a tendency to want to try and solve things. I guess that's why being an engineer or being trained as an engineer was very useful for me because when I was being trained as an engineer, we are trained to find solutions. We are trained to just uh, I know things are shit, but drop everything and just find the solution first. So I think that part of me is something that I carry forward into doing stuff. So, but if we look at the book, right, she says that okay, when you are a person who is a pessimist, okay, you tend to feel hopeless. Uh, you tend to feel hopeless, especially when the situation is something that you cannot control. Like for example, I can't control whether my network's going to be good. I can't control whether my environment's going to be noisy. Uh, so then that makes you feel hopeless. And she uses the term, it's a suffering that you cannot control, right? What do you think of that, Ika? Oh no, did we just lose Ika again?
I actually problem on hello. The amount of hello. Do you guys hear me?
Oh my. Yeah, now I hear you. You were overlapping yourself for a while there. I wonder if Hidayah is still listening in. I wonder if Hidayah can hear anything that we're saying. Oh, we got a new friend. Hi, Starfire. Starfire is a friend I met over the weekend. Uh, over the week, actually. Hello. All right.
Welcome to the book club.
Hello and welcome to the book club. Oh yay! We've got a new follower. Yay!
Congrats.
We finally hit 10 followers. Wow! Yay! Starfire is my sifu.
Hello, Starfire.
She's gonna be my sifu on OBS streaming. So, ladies and gentlemen, since Starfire is here, right? Please give her a like and follow her because she's having her anniversary coming up next week. Okay, so it'll be awesome. You guys will be doing me a great favor. If you guys could head over to her stream next week to catch up on her anniversary streaming. She's got a lot of stuff planned. It's going to be fun. So yeah, do uh, do all of us at Team Untapped a small favor and come support Starfire's anniversary live stream. All right, next week. Hey, definitely, definitely. It will do us a nice favor if you could type out your schedule on the chat or something, or you could show me how to link to your schedule later. Yeah. Okay, so back to the book, right? So hopelessness is suffering that you can and you can't control. Uh, what do you think of hopelessness, Tika? And what do you find when reading Angela Duckworth's idea on cognitive behavioral therapy, saying that it is suffering that we cannot control or suffering that we can control that causes people to go into all this hopelessness and this feeling of depression. What do you think? Tika?
I am somehow trying to remember what I read for this.
All right, so while Tika is trying to remember what she read, Starfire has done all of us a favor and posted up her Twitter on Starfire's in the chat. So guys, give her a like and subscribe, okay? Yeah, follow her. She's awesome. She does all these Genshin Impact videos. Like, you know the one reason why I like Genshin Impact?
Because it's cute.
No, because you have Paimon. You have a reserve food supply that is cute and fights back.
Don't eat lemon, okay?
Don't eat Paimon. No, she's the reserve food supply. Of course, you don't eat her until it becomes necessary. Oh my god, Paimon. Yeah, man. Paimon's so cute. So do follow her, guys. Starfire. Right. Okay, so um, back on to topic. What do you think about suffering you can and can't control and hopelessness, Tika?
I am somehow my thinking somehow went blank when it comes to this.
Oh, I thought your thinking went blank because our connection went blank for a while ago.
That is another thing.
So
I
I'll start about hopelessness then, if you don't mind. Or do you find something already?
no.
Okay, so
Oh,
when it comes to hopelessness in the book, right, Angela Duckworth talks about Freudian psychology, where he talks about, oh, it is a trauma in the past that you can't do anything about it, and then you feel hopeless, and because you feel hopeless all the time, okay, you become less optimistic, all right? You become more pessimistic, okay? But when you look at the uh, people who are able to be optimistic about things, okay, they tend to look at the situation as something that they can control. Okay, whether it is like, oh, uh, I was late because I didn't wake up early because I didn't sleep early the night before, or uh, my environment is noisy. I can move to an environment that is not so noisy. So when you can control the stuff that you want to talk about or the stuff that you're looking at or the problems that you're facing, generally people tend to be more optimistic, right? Do you want to add anything here, Tika? If not, we will go into the next part of the chapter.
no.
All right. So
I'm actually trying to focus because somehow here is very noisy.
yeah, so that's where we come to the next part of the chapter, right? Where she talks about learner optimism, where Angela Duckworth says that because you see, a person suffers because they are pessimistic, right? So only by being optimistic, okay, they can actually uh, become better at stuff, right? So this what's the word for it? This Angela actually says, okay, that optimism is something you can learn, right? And there are uh, ways of looking at things to be more optimistic. Did you read this part yet?
Which page is that again?
This is the part where Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're both right.
I have read that, but I cannot somehow find it.
So in the book, right, okay, he
Hmm.
mentions the 400 teachers that did the grid scale. And then on top of that, Marty gave them a questionnaire to assess how optimistic they are, right? So when they did that, okay, they also measured happiness. Now, but that's a second story, right? So after they collected all this information, they analyzed the data, and they noticed that people who were optimistic, the teachers who were optimistic, were found to be grittier and happier. Okay, and grit and happiness explain why these optimistic teachers got their students to achieve more during the school year. Right? So that is when she started thinking back about her own experience teaching in the classroom. She said many afternoons she go home and she's tired, she's like exhausted, right? And her self-talk is about doubting herself. She's like, oh my god, I'm an idiot and all those things. And then when she thinks about her students, she goes like, oh my god, she got it wrong again. She'll never learn this. Okay? And then the morning after, right, she get up and then she decided that never mind lah, there's another tactic that I can try. So maybe if I do this, then they'll be able to understand this better. Maybe if I clean, maybe if I do something else, then they'll get a new habit of keeping the things clean, right? So this data, right, okay, show them that if you stop searching or you assume that the situation cannot be changed, then the situation will not be changed. So that is where she talks about learned optimism after that, where she says that
Oh.
it is possible for people to learn optimism if they start at a very young age. We will come back to learned optimism in a while, but one of the things that she mentioned in that survey was happiness. She mentioned that happiness, right, was assumed to be the cost of greed, because previously in the earlier chapters we talked about how people who want to become greedy, right, they have to do deliberate practice, right? And then during deliberate practice, they go like, "Oh no, this is so hard. Why do I have to do this?" Just like how Atika has to go and run 5 km. Hi Eva, you missed out my Sifu. Go follow her on Starfires at twitter.com. At twitch.com, sorry. Why did she post twitter.com? I don't understand. I think it's supposed to be twitch.com. Let me fix that for her. Twitch.com, yeah. Go follow Starfires at twitch.com. She's gonna be my Sifu for streaming, I think. Oh, we lost Tika. Tika, are you there?
Well,
Tika's back. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so what do you think about happiness being the cost of greed? Like, we all know that doing all these runs is not really a happy thing sometimes, right?
I am having a hard time to focus right now.
You know what's the fun part about doing the book club here? I get to see you laugh, right? And I don't hear anything. I see you laughing, but there's no sound coming out. Okay. So what do you think? What do you think about happiness being the cost of greed? I mean, the research has proven that it is not true, right? Gritty people are happy, suffering.
I think because they know that they are doing their best, because pretty people wanted to achieve their objectives, right?
That's true.
So yeah, I mean, like, they, if okay, once they hit their objective, once they hit their target, right, you're
Mhm.
gonna be happy about it. Like for me, for instance, I'm running 5 km. I hit my 5 km, I am happy. There's a lot of grit going on. There's a lot of effort going on. It is a deliberate practice. I am running out of my comfort zone to achieve that 5 km. 5 km is not an easy feat. Okay, 5 km is 5,000 meters. Took me 1 hour just to finish one 5 km. Okay, so once I hit that 5 km, right, good. I feel how would you say this? I feel happy. There's a sense of euphoria. There's a sense of achievement. Plus, there's a
Euphoria. Wow. Someone's using big, big words now. So you agree with the research saying that happiness comes as part of grit because they like the things that they're doing.
yeah, true.
All
I
right,
mean,
all right.
okay, but there are instances of you doing something that you do not like, but because of your greed, once you achieve that, you also feel happy. Running using but running is actually at first place, run is not something that I like to do. Now it just changed to running is something I like to do.
Yeah, that is true, right? So a lot of times when we are actually looking at the things that we do, we may not be happy about doing it, right? But when we tell
Yeah,
ourselves, yeah, we're gonna do it because of this reason or that reason, then we go like, oh yes, let's go, right? So that brings us to the next part of the chapter actually, where she talks about learning through optimism. She talks about the children, okay, where when they are younger, okay, if they were given the idea that they suck, they grow up getting a sense of helplessness and pessimism. Whereas if they were younger, they were given the sense that, oh, they are able to overcome certain things through their own effort, then they will be able to learn through optimism. There's always hope that they can become better, right? I find this particular part of the chapter, right, really really interesting. You know why? The-
right.
we are always told, right, like that, oh, we want to guide people. We always have to tell them that what they did well, or we have to always encourage them. But in this chapter, right, she actually brings out that, pointing out that these people have uh, limiting factors, okay, and then telling them that there are ways to overcome that limiting factor is actually a method for them to learn about optimism. In a sense, what she's saying, right, is that all our Asian parents caning us all this while, right, is a good thing.
Well, she is part of Asian, so
Yeah, she's part Asian, right? So she's biased. So, but what I see here is that, because our parents always tell us, hey, why you're not going to score? Why didn't you score more? Why didn't you score more? Right? It's not
mm,
about why did you not score that one last point. It's like, why didn't you score more? That allows us to understand that, hey, we can score more, you know, and that allows us to gain optimism, which is very important in the long run. Because if our parents keep telling us that, oh, we are good, but then we didn't do well enough, oh, we are good but we didn't do well enough, what she says in the research is that if we tell them that they are good and they didn't do well enough, that just means that there is a ceiling to their skills, right? But if we keep telling them that you can improve, you can get better, you can do more, right? Then these children will grow up learning that they have hope and they become more optimistic about their future. Right? For example, you have shared with us the story of your parents uh, scolding you about stuff, right? And then when I listen to it, right, I feel like that's your parents telling you that you can be better. Right? So I think partly it's also the way the parents say it, lah. You know, if the parents say that you suck, then I think you'll end up being pessimistic, lah. But if your parents tell you that no, you can be better than this, be better than that, you know, then you always feel like, oh, there's always a chance to be better.
I still remember when I got like when I've gotten 96 for my English, and my mom was like, "Why didn't you hit hundreds?" I'm like, "Mom."
I know, right? I know, right? That happens all the time in Asian families.
Yeah.
So, so I just share with you one situation that was really funny. Right? When I scored 99 out of 100, right? My mom said, "Where did the one extra mark go? Why you didn't want to take the extra one mark?" It's as if I didn't want to do it. You know? And then when my sister, right, okay, scores like uh, 87 over 100, right, or something, or 74 over 100, right, my mom will be like, you know, you can do better than this, right? So that's why now, okay, my sister is the optimist. She's always like, you know, you can do better than this, right? And then I'm the pessimist. And I go like, shit, this sucks, man. I didn't do as well as I did. I can. You know, so I really think that learning through optimism and pessimism is a big deal, especially when we are coming up with guiding children and bringing kids up to the next level. I really see that as a big deal, right? Okay, so let's look at the next part. So how, since we say that optimism is so important, right? Then the question is, how can we cultivate optimism? This is a little bit deep, right? So I'm sorry. Yeah, these earbuds are annoying my ears.
I'm having earache right now.
Ear aches. A little crack them, make a fried eggs. Okay. Uh, I'm sorry. Dad jokes everywhere. So we're talking about cultivating optimism. I like the way that Angela actually gives us uh, the method for cultivating optimism. For example, she talks about fixed mindset versus growth mindset. You know how people generally, when we talk about fixed mindset, people are like, oh, I've got this idea of this person, and that idea of that person, the image of that person, right, is always going to be like that. Growth mindset is where I've got this idea of this person, but after time, this person may change, and I'm ready to accept that this person may change, right? Um, what do you
I
think?
think I don't know. This reminds me of the part where the line. I mean, like the part where they know they detect whether you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset.
Mhm,
Remember where they Angela Duckworth written down 4 sentences
mhm.
and then see which one you noted your head into.
Yeah. Let me see if I can bring those sentences up.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah, that one.
So let me see you nod your head. But
True, true, true.
I really see the difference, right, between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. If we really want to encourage people or children, especially, right, to learn, the growth mindset is really important. Like
True.
it's bad to tell your kids that why you so stupid all the time. That's a fixed mindset. Right? You stupid all the time. Instead, a growth mindset will be like, "Hey, yeah, why like that? Next time, do better, okay?" You know that's like kind of a growth mindset right there. And I think the next point is also important because she talks about not just the fixed mindset and the growth mindset because I experienced this many times, right, in my team. in my MA team, right? Whenever I talk to Hidayah, right, okay, this shows up a lot, right? Because the mindset that I have, whether it's a fixed mindset or growth mindset, right, okay, is controlled by me, all right. But when I want to tell people about the mindset that I'm having, right, the vocabulary that I use becomes very important because when I was talking about it, right, okay, somehow if I use the terms wrongly, I'm supposed to support her growth, and then it becomes I am trying to support her talent. You know, uh, give you guys an example. Like for example, right, if somebody does something correctly, okay, and then you say something like, "Oh, you very smart lah." That's supporting talent. That's the vocabulary that supports talent, right? But instead, if you say something like, "Wow, you did very well on this," right? That's the vocabulary that supports growth, right? That means that what she did is good, and she can continue to do more, right? But if you're saying that she's smart, and then that's like a ceiling right there, it doesn't grow higher. She can't be smart times two, it doesn't work that way, right? So the vocabulary being used is is as important, if not more important than the mindset. Of course, having the mindset is the first thing, then the vocabulary being used. What do you think of the vocabulary uh, part that she used?
Vocabulary vocabulary really plays an important role there. Even like right now, right, I am trying really hard to watch how I say things. For instance, I learned that instead of saying I know, when when people been saying that to me a lot, right? For example, my sister keep on saying like I know lah. It seems like very condescending. So I learned that there's a better way to phrase that. Instead of saying I know, you'll be like, yeah, you're right. That's true. So it doesn't sound like I am showing off that I know stuff. I am trying to say that you're correct. It is a correct statement. So yeah, when it comes to vocabulary, also it's really important. I think if you show the pages where the undermines growth mindset and the promote growth mindset part, right? You can see the difference between the sentences they use. For example, the first one, you are a natural. I love that. And the promote growth mindset would be like, you are a learner. I love that. The word natural and the word learner itself is like two different things. It carries two different meanings.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So recently, I've tried to do this with my kids, right? And I think this is really really important
Yeah.
because when the time when they lost, right? Oh my God, the mindset and the words they were using. Oh, I think it's kind of your fault that I started noticing that I was saying I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that, but the hell I don't know anything, right? uh, so I really think that that's very powerful. Uh,
Yeah, even the second statement, but at least we tried. I keep on using this, right? And then it's actually like, oh, you did your best. So that's it lah.
God,
Yeah. So I mean, like if you read the bad, I mean, like the ones in the promotes segment, they say that didn't work. Let's talk about how you approach it and what might work better. It sounds
yeah,
better. It makes like, I mean, if you say that to your kids, right, the basketball kids, right, they're gonna be like, oh, my coach, he believed in us. I am good. I can do better than this.
right, right. I think
You're
I
gonna,
think you know what's the funny part about this?
but
I noticed, right, that we tend to crack jokes on how English people spend more effort trying to find different vocabularies to say the same thing as American people do. And if you notice, the vocabulary used by British people tends to be a little bit more towards elaborative. And there you can see the opportunity for them to have a growth vocabulary is a lot higher than a talent-based vocabulary. That's what I see. I may be wrong. I'm overgeneralizing again.
Yeah.
But I really see that, you know. So I think for us, right, we probably can improve our vocabulary by actually taking the time to slow down and think about what we want to say before actually mentioning it, right? And then that brings us to the last one, right? Actions that speak of support. You know, a lot of times we say we say we support, but do we actually support, right? You know, do we actually show up? Do we actually uh, encourage them, right? One of the examples is like what I mentioned earlier. Do we slow down our rate of speech to actually encourage other people by using a different type of vocabulary? Do we actually take the active effort to do that switch? You know. So I think that is a very powerful idea that we should actively try to use. What do you think? What kind of actions did you do that speak of supporting other people recently?
I, I'm sorry, but I somehow cannot think of anything right now. It's lunch, so I am very hungry, so that's why focusing is a bit hard for me to do right now.
So I think all these three things, if done properly, really can cultivate the optimism, especially in children who are growing up or adults who want to improve themselves. I think this idea behind cultivating optimism is very powerful. Because you see, we talked about self-talk earlier, right? And later in the chapter, she talks about self-theories. Because like we see in cultivating optimism, there is this growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And this mindset, right, becomes the theory that somebody has of themselves. I'm not saying that we are all narcissistic. I mean, humans are generally narcissistic people. We tend to look at ourselves a lot, right? Because when there's nobody else to look at, we look at ourselves, lah, right? no. Uh, and with that, right, we form a lot of ideas about how things are supposed to be. Many times in a conversation, that happens. Like I just had a conversation this morning, right, where I was saying something, and then the person I was talking to thought that I was referring to her. When I wasn't talking about her, but I was saying something, but the person thought I was talking about her. So these are ways that self theories form and affect hope in a guilty person. Right? So that's why it's very important, according to Angela Duckworth, to grow optimism via affirmations of success. Now this one is a very interesting part of the chapter, okay? Because the affirmation of success, okay, there's a lot of things that can uh, be used as an affirmation of success. Okay, let's see where was the part in the book? Oh yeah, there we go. All right, the affirmation of success. Okay, this is the part that it talks about the affirmation. So when we do affirmations, what happens is the brain has a lot of areas that respond to stress, right? But the part that controls those areas are bigger and more powerful and related to ideas and words, language, right? So that's why when we use affirmations, these sections can control the areas that respond to stress, okay, and allows us to get a better result. So that's why affirmations are so powerful. But while I was scrolling through the book, right, there's something that came up here that I didn't put into my slides, right? Which I think is very powerful. This is the question that came up. The urgent question is, okay, if something that doesn't kill you makes you stronger, then when? When does struggle lead to hope and when does struggle lead to hopelessness? Wow. What do you think, Tika? When does struggle lead to hope and when does struggle lead to hopelessness?
When struggle doesn't show any result, right? Or when you feel tired about something, then it leads to hopelessness.
Right? What do you mean?
I think, for example, my running. Okay, I think right now it's still showing up. I mean, like the fact that I keep on running, right? It's a struggle for me, because I'm still overweight. Running is actually bad. I mean, I still hurts my knee whenever I. But the fact that it shows result, right? Doesn't matter whether it's slow or fast. It still show result, right? I don't feel hopeless when I did my run. I think there was one sense when I feel hopelessness is when all the bad things happen during a run. Like the other, I think last month I hit that sense of I had that state was I was running. Running usually makes me feel good, but that day everything bad that can happen happened. I woke up late. The sun was already out, and I keep like trying to avoid cars from hitting me, and I sort of like sprained my leg, and it just make me stop the run. I do not want to run anymore. It makes me like, you know what? I'm just gonna give up on this run and just head to a mama or cafe and just sit down and lean.
So I give up, flip table.
Yeah, but I think it's also related to how you talk to yourself. Also, I think somehow, I mean, like the difference between the one that leads to struggle leads to hope and struggle leads to hopelessness, right? It depends. I think it depends on how you talk to yourself also. I mean, if you saw me on the first day, like, oh, my run is not good, okay, I can still run tomorrow. But that day, the one that I stopped completely, I think that day I was like having like a really bad day. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop and don't do anything. And then I stopped for like 2 weeks. I didn't run.
I remember that. But I agree
Yeah.
with this point. When we
Hmm?
struggle, right, and we do not have control, we cannot sense any form of control over the matter, right? Well, then we feel really hopeless, right? To the point where
Yeah.
we just want to give up because you can't control anything anymore, right? They did the experiment. If you look at the book, they did the experiment with the rats. Same thing where they shock the floor, and then if the rats can press the button, the shock will end, right?
Yeah.
So they
So
noticed that,
why do they like to use electric shock? Yeah.
yeah, I know, right? Well, you can't exactly cane the rats. Asian parents Asian parents tend to cane their kids, right? So it's the same thing, right? But they found out that the adult rats, right, if when they were younger had the sense of control, right, they were able to tahan longer in the electric shocks compared to the rest that didn't get the sense of control when they were younger. So I think it's the same in anything you do. Recently I've been having some trouble with my management team, and I don't feel a sense of control at all. So it's making me really want to give up hope. Really want to give up hope. Right? But at the same time, right, when I was dealing with the basketball kids, right, okay, there was always a sense of control. We could always do something to improve our game. We could always do something to become better the next game. So that's why I don't feel like giving up. I feel like I want to try harder. So I really think that you are right. When when we lose a sense of control, that is when struggle becomes helplessness, and we tend to feel like we want to give up. Wow, that was very insightful. I should have I should have added that into our slides.
True. Oh,
Okay,
sorry, how long is gonna take again?
no, we have the last slide already.
Oh, okay.
Why? Ah?
I know, I'm just checking the time because it's already 1 hour and 50.
Yeah. It's like I've got a reminder here that says we've got 4 minutes left. So yeah, let's just finish this then. So in general, the steps to build hope. I think Angela Duckworth summarizes this perfectly. She says that 3 steps to build hope. First one, having a growth mindset. Second one, having optimistic self-talk. And third one, perseverance over adversity. I think these three are really powerful steps that if we can control or we can use them in our daily lives, will allow us to become more optimistic about life and have more hope for the future and become grittier and tougher on our path to success. So, do you have anything else you want to add, Tika?
No.
Okay. Let's call it a day. I know. We've gone on for 1 hour and a half already, almost, if you include the downtime. So, for those of you guys who have been viewing with us all the way until the end, thank you so much for being with us, right? And oh, oh yeah, Starfires is now following us. All right, so thank you all so much. We've got a new follower today, so guys, go follow her back, and I will see you guys next week for our next chapter. All right, we have finished chapter
Bye.
9. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna end the stream now. Bye, guys.